This is Team 8813, the Winter Soldiers here, and this is an updated version of Lesson Plan 5. This version contains narrations from members of our FTC team, which summarize and describe what is said on the slide. Hope you guys enjoy the lesson.
Before we start, make sure your motors are plugged into port B and C. Motors B and C are default. These are the ports we use most. The B port is the right drive and the C port is the left drive. A and D are the attachment motors. You'll experiment with these after the basics.
This screen is the programming area. The menu in the upper left-hand corner is where you'll go to save your programs. You have to press the button in the far right corner before you start programming. The block with the green triangle in the middle of the screen is where you will connect the blocks to begin creating a program. The row of different colored tabs underneath that show the different types of blocks available for programming. It starts out with the green tab selected, so below it's showing all the action blocks. In the lower right section you can see the connection status of the EV3 and download the program.
Today we're going to talk about programming blocks. So the first programming block is the action block, and it's used for the major robot functions, such as moving the robot and the large and medium motors. The orange blocks are flow blocks. They're used to start, stop, and repeat blocks. The final type of block that we will be using is the sensor block, which is the beige block. The sensor blocks are used for programming with the sensors. The red, blue, and flow blocks we won't be using.
Let's look back at the row of green blocks. The first one on the left is the medium motor block. The next one is the large motor block. Just as it sounds, the medium motor block is smaller than the larger motor, which means it has less torque. Torque is a measure of twisting force to make a rotation. The third block is the move steering block. The move steering block can make your robot drive forward, backward, turn, or stop. It's used for robot vehicles that have two large motors, with one motor driving the left side of the vehicle and the other the right side.
First step is to drag a move steering block, that third block under the green colored tab. You'll see there are 5 different sections in the block. Changing the values in each section will make your robot behave in different ways. The process of changing these values is what we call programming. Now it's time to program.
A one full circle movement is called rotation.
Before we start programming, it's important to know that one full circle of movement is called a rotation. This full rotation is 360 degrees. You'll need to know that for the first section of the move steering block. There are 5 different ways the robot can move. Well, there's 5 different settings. There's off, which it won't move. There's on, and then there's on for seconds, on for degrees, and on for rotations. You're mostly just going to use on for rotations.
The section with the arrow tells the robot how much to turn. We will learn more about this part next week. The next section tells the robot how much power to give the motors. More power means the robot goes faster, and less power means that it will go slower. Lower power can make the robot more accurate and save battery, but not enough power can make it less accurate.
This portion of the block will change depending on what we select in the first section. Here we have it set to rotations. We can change how many rotations the robot will move. We can also change this to seconds, degrees, on or off. There are two different modes. One's called brake mode, which is abrupt stopping. The other is coast mode, which slows down the robot then stops. Usually, we're going to use coast mode. When you want to save your program, go to the upper left-hand corner of the screen and click the File button. Then it will drop down and you should click Save Project.
Time to practice to make a program with the Move Tank block, with it being on for rotations, 80% power, for 5 rotations on coast mode. The next slide will show you what your block should look like. The first section is set to rotations. The second section is set to 0, so it will move forward without turning. The power is at 80%, it is set to 5 rotations, and it's on coast mode. You can test this program out on your robot and see what it looks like. Let's do some more practice. We will make a program with the Move Tank block on for seconds, on 25% power, for 19 seconds, on coast mode. When you're done, see if your programming matches what is on the next slide. This time, this first section is on seconds. The turn block is still at 0, so it won't turn as it moves forward. Power is at 25%, it is set for 19 seconds, and it is on coast mode. When you test this program out, note the differences in how the robot moves compared to the first program.
Press the link below to explore SoundBlocks and to learn how to download the EV3 program. The first task for homework this week is for the team to create the robot. After this, install the EV3 software, which you can learn how to do by watching the video in the previous slide. By the knowledge you have gained through watching the video and learning in class, I would like for the team to build a basic move forward program. If the students are able to figure this out quickly, it might be fun to try experimenting and programming with the sound blocks. Once these are complete, I would like for the students to watch the following videos. In the Beyond Basics tutorial section, watch the multitasking, loop, and switch blocks videos. Then watch all the videos under the hardware tutorial section. Remember, practice, practice, practice. This slide shows the EV3 brick basics. Look over and get familiar with this picture. It will become very helpful as the classes become more and more advanced.